people are angry in America. They're angry in general. I think they're angry at inflation, and they're angry at not being able to influence their own lives or influence the people who have control over their lives. And then when people like the Iranian students, I don't understand why they still call them students. They've had the hostages for 90 days. Don't you get expelled if you're out of school for 90 days? I mean, I would think at least they'd be put on probation. I call them ex-students. Anyway.
For 11 years, Alan Alda had America laughing as Hawkeye Pierce on MASH. But behind the scenes, he carried a secret pain, one that haunted him for decades. Now, he's finally revealing the untold truth. The co-star who quit because of him, the episode that divided the cast, and the heartbreaking story deemed too dark for TV. This is the side of MASH America never knew. Alan Alda, born Alfonso Josef de Abruzzo on January 28, 1936, in New York City, was destined for show business. His father, Robert Alda, was a performer in vaudeville and burlesque, while his mother, Joan Brown, was a former beauty queen. Young Alan grew up backstage, surrounded by the thrill of live performance, but also the instability of constant travel. At just 7, his life took a terrifying turn. In 1943, he contracted polio, enduring agonizing treatments as his parents wrapped his limbs in scalding blankets to keep his muscles from deteriorating. For a time, he could barely move. The ordeal taught him resilience, an inner strength that would shape his future. At home, Alan faced another challenge. His mother's mental health struggles created tension in the family. To cope, he became highly attuned to emotions, a skill that later shaped his acting. Determined to forge his own identity, he created the stage name Alda from his parents' names, Alonso and Brown. At Fordham University, he refined his craft on the school's radio station, WFUV. But college wasn't just about performance. During his junior year, Alan Alda's journey as a performer wasn't confined to the U.S. It spanned the globe. He studied in Paris, acted in Rome, and immersed himself in diverse theater traditions. Travel broadened his perspective, deepening his understanding of storytelling and performance. Back home, he was more determined than ever. He joined the Compass Players and later Second City in Chicago, legendary improv groups that demanded razor-sharp wit and fearless creativity. Here, he learned to trust his instincts, embrace spontaneity, and stay present, skills that would define his career. By the late 1950s, his dedication paid off. A Ford Foundation grant led him to the Cleveland Playhouse, where he tackled roles in To Dorothy, A Son, Heaven Come Wednesday, Monique, and Job. Each production pushed him to grow alongside seasoned actors. Yet, beneath his rising success, Alda never forgot his childhood struggle with polio. The agonizing treatments, the scalding blankets, the relentless muscle stretching. It all left him with an unshakable resilience that fueled his determination. His first big break on Broadway came in 1959 with Only in America. But the real turning point was Pearly Victorious, 1961, where he played Charlie Keepy. By 1964, he was starring in Fair Game for Lovers, a romantic comedy that showcased his effortless charm and comedic brilliance. Audiences took notice. At the same time, Alda's television career was gaining traction. He joined That Was the Week That Was, 1964 to 65, a sharp, satirical news show. It honed his comedic edge and introduced him to a nationwide audience, setting the stage for his biggest role yet. In 1964, Alda made a bold choice, starring as Felix in The Owl and the Pussycat, alongside Diana Sands. The play was sharp, witty, and ahead of its time. But one moment sparked controversy: an interracial kiss on stage. In an era where such scenes were rare, The backlash was immediate: hate mail, outrage, and criticism. But Alda never wavered. On stage and in life, he stood by his choices. His film career took off in 1968 with Paper Lion, where he played journalist George Plimpton, a writer embedding himself with the Detroit Lions. Mixing humor with drama, Alda held his own alongside real-life football legends like Alex Karras and Joe Schmidt. 2 years later, he showed his softer side in Jenny, opposite Marlo Thomas. The film, about an unexpected romance between a young man and a pregnant woman, proved Alda could handle deep, emotional roles, not just comedy. Yet, by the late 60s, he was still waiting for his big break, bouncing between small TV gigs and game show appearances. That all changed in 1972 when he landed the role of a lifetime, Captain Benjamin Franklin Hawkeye Pierce on MASH. Set in a Korean War field hospital, MASH used humor as a survival tool amid the horrors of war. Hawkeye was quick-witted, rebellious, and deeply human, the heart of the show. As the series evolved, so did Alda's role. He took on writing and directing, shaping MASH into something more than a comedy. His influence peaked with the 1983 finale, Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen. Watched by over 105 million people, it became the most viewed TV broadcast in history at the time. But this wasn't just a series finale. It was a raw, emotional goodbye. It captured exhaustion, grief, and the painful weight of war. Some scenes were hilarious, others gut-wrenching. The war ended, but no one left unchanged. Alda ensured every moment felt real. For nearly 3 decades, no scripted show came close to MASH's viewership. But Alda's impact went beyond ratings. He helped define its soul. He insisted the show wasn't just about jokes, but truth. War wasn't just about soldiers. It was doctors fighting to save lives, people trapped in a nightmare they never asked for. He believed humor was the best way to tell these stories. Laughter could make the unbearable just a little lighter. But MASH never let audiences forget the devastating reality behind the jokes. Yet, as Alda's influence grew, tensions behind the scenes simmered. Some cast members felt MASH was shifting too much toward Hawkeye. His presence was undeniable. His impact massive. And not everyone was happy about it. Wayne Rogers, who played Trapper John McIntyre, was one of the most affected by MASH's evolution. Initially, Trapper was Hawkeye's equal. Their friendship was the show's backbone. But as Alda took on more creative control, Hawkeye became the clear lead, and Trapper started feeling like a sidekick. Though Rogers left MASH, Trapper John lived on in Trapper John, M.D., 1979, where he was reimagined as a seasoned chief surgeon. Meanwhile, MASH introduced B.J. Hunnicutt, Mike Farrell, a more grounded, family-oriented contrast to Hawkeye. After MASH, Alda expanded his career, proving himself as both an actor and storyteller. He wrote, directed, and starred in The Four Seasons, 1981, and showcased his versatility in Crimes and Misdemeanors, 1989. In 2004, he earned an Oscar nomination for The Aviator, proving his staying power in Hollywood. Beyond acting, Alda had a deep passion for science. As host of Scientific American Frontiers, 1993 to 2005, he made complex topics engaging and inspired a new generation of scientists. In 2009, he founded the Alan Alda Center for Communicating Science, helping researchers connect with the public. Yet, his greatest story was his love for Arlene Weiss. They met in 1956 over a fallen rum cake and married a year later. Their lifelong bond was built on humor and support, with Alda keeping family life separate from fame. In 2015, He was diagnosed with Parkinson's but continued to inspire, embracing movement therapy and sharing his journey with resilience. Through storytelling, science, and love, Alda's legacy remains timeless. Best known for his role as Hawkeye Pierce on MASH, Alda's career was marked by both success and self-doubt. Even after MASH, he remained committed to evolving as an actor, director, and writer, receiving the SAG Lifetime Achievement Award in 2019. Alda's impact extended beyond entertainment. He was an advocate for science communication, a supporter of St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, and a champion for women's rights. Alda's storytelling legacy is evident in his memoirs, including Never Have Your Dog Stuffed and Things I Overheard While Talking to Myself, as well as his books on communication. Through his work and advocacy, Alda has influenced countless lives, emphasizing the power of empathy and connection. His legacy is one of wisdom, humor, and profound storytelling,